the representative of Sri Lanka, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation. The floor is yours, sir.
Господин председатель.
Mr. Chairman, we welcome the appointment of Ms. Melissa Fleming to the post of USG for Global Communications. We hope that your rich international experience and your constructive approach will be able to overcome all of the financial difficulties without losses to the department. We note with satisfaction that the new leadership of the department, especially as it stands now, has found a way to move forward without pursuing cuts, but to retain standards at their previous level. At the beginning of my speech, I'd like to touch upon one of the most important areas, the reform of DGC. Without a doubt, the UN must remain at the focus of global attention and be a needed source for rapid and interesting information to keep up with the times. For this, changes in media must remain at the center of our efforts. However, in the context of the fundamental reform of the department, even more so as this requires significant financial and personnel capacities, this can hardly be deemed timely. The complicated economic situation requires new rules. Now is not the time for theoretical projects that don't have a significant added value. Even more than before, we all need to be rooted in the real opportunities and needs of the organization as laid out in the relevant mandates. Each initiative should be, first of all, filled with concrete and needed content, but second, they should be realized without eliminating traditional services. The priority is to retain the equipment and toolbox that we already have, and this should be carried out using the successfully proved resources that we've used for media throughout the years. We expect that innovations in their work would be agreed with member states, and we think it's important and useful to continue with the approved format of informal briefings of the leadership of the department with follow-up consultations that enable member states to share their proposals and concerns. We hope that the new leadership will make this constructive and regular and will carry out such briefings more frequently. Mr. Chairman, we thank the Secretary General for the thorough and detailed briefing and report on the work of the department. We welcome the successful initiatives in peacekeeping and facilitating the SDGs and on African issues. We view as a positive step the broadening of the geographic cooperation in the media area to promote SDG realization. We also would like to commend the efforts of the DGC for their efforts to involve youth, and we note the growing number of subscribers to UN social media sites. At the same time, there are still disparities in the popularity of news services on the various languages. And we note that English is the most used. There's concern about the lag for other languages, and this shows a critically low level of results for the growing number of users and the content. For example, the likes on Facebook are 3 times lower in Russian than in Swahili or Portuguese. So the most elementary statistics are significant to indicate just how much the current situation is not logical. The number of Russian speakers is not lowering, but it is much greater than those who speak Portuguese or Swahili. But the activity of the Russian-speaking users on internet is one of the highest in the world. So not insufficient attention is being paid to these Russian language users on the web. We would call on the Secretariat to first and foremost fulfill all of the mandates in the official language of the UN and not allow a situation where some language areas are being served at the cost of others. We're convinced that multilingualism should remain a cornerstone of the ICT activity of the UN, not just on paper, but practically speaking. We need new and more effective strategies for developing language news services, because we have seen great results from this in the past. However, success requires that we continue moving forward and that also we don't lose what was achieved. We understand the issues of multilingualism on the webcast, the publication of content in all official languages has not always been established, and so we really urge the Secretariat to study all technical opportunities to solve this problem. Next year, the world will be celebrating the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War and the creation of the UN. Russia, as one of the victors and one of the founders of the organization, has always attached priority attention to this area, and we bear responsibility for carrying it out as well. The importance of the anniversary means that there must be great events at the headquarters that can show the outcomes of the war and the contribution of member states in overcoming Nazism. We're convinced that the resources for this will assist. The DGC will have a coordinating role in this, and we hope for interested activity of the department in this area. We are prepared for constructive cooperation towards it. I wish success to the Bureau of the Committee and all member states in their further work. Thank you.
أشكر ممثل روسيا الموقر.
I should like to thank the representative of the Russian Federation for those words, and I now give the floor